Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss one more important topic, that is hypothesis testing. In hypothesis testing, first we'll discuss about some basic terms. Before this, we have studied in my previous video about what is hypothesis, what are the number of steps of formulating hypothesis, and what are the examples of hypothesis, how you can formulate hypothesis, and specific examples I have given in that video. So I think you must be getting that knowledge. And now we are proceeding for the next. What is hypothesis testing? Hypothesis testing is most important part for the research. So you must be very careful and go through all my 5 videos which I will send you. Before discussing about the hypothesis testing, we should understand some basic terms of hypothesis testing. It is very much important. So I have prepared my first video about the hypothesis testing. What is hypothesis testing? Second video, which is based on part 1. And in this video, we are going to discuss about the descriptive versus inferential statistics, population parameter versus simple statistics, parametric versus non-parametric analysis in this video. And in next video, we are going to discuss about, in part 2, null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis in detail, significant label, what is alpha, and what is p-value, statistical significance, confidence intervals, and then significance label in depth. So these topics we'll discuss in detail. After that, we will discuss about how hypothesis works in my next video. So first, let us start in this video about the knowledge about what is hypothesis testing. Hypothesis test is a statistical procedure that allows us to use a sample. To draw a conclusion about the entire population. It is a process by which we can get the sample from the population, and then we can draw a conclusion about an entire population. This is the basic concept of the hypothesis. More specifically, a hypothesis test evaluates 2 mutual exclusive statements about the population and determines which statement the data support. Hypothesis testing is a procedure in inferential statistics to draw reliable conclusions from a sample. We need to appreciate the difference between descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. What is descriptive statistics and what is inferential statistics? Descriptive statistics, we collect the data from the population, and that data will be make a meaningful analysis, and then we can present this data as a meaningful presentation. What is descriptive statistics? Then we can discuss about that in detail. Descriptive statistics describe it. You simply take a group that you are interested in, record the data about the group members, and then use summary statistics and graphs to present the group properties. With descriptive statistics, there is no uncertainty because you are describing only the people or its items that you have actually measured. In descriptive analysis, which I have discussed in before, we don't have require any inference We don't have require any hypothesis, because we collect the data from population as a sample and will make analysis and make this analysis due to some meaningful results. By this example number 1, we can understand more specific way. Suppose Government of India has decided to do corona infection test to those people whose temperature more than 99 degrees centigrade, means they have fever, and below 96 degrees centigrade, maybe some other diseases like that. Then presume that the population of the particular place was 100 and health workers take the temperature of whole population. Because that population is only 100, then we can do and we can get 100% authentic results. Suppose health workers has taken the temperature from the population, 100 population. Suppose 10 people have temperature was below 96 degree and 10% have more than 99 degrees centigrade, and it means 80% people have temperature was 96, between 96 to 99 degree. So then only 20% people, 10% this and 10% this, 20% people have required the temperature. Here we don't have required any particular inference, because we have a less population and we have small population, then we can calculate these things, and we don't have require any inferences. Whatever the data we have make a meaningful sense, and Government of India or any particular researcher want to get the results for their meaningful sense, for meaningful use, then they can collect the data and they can make the presentation by graphical way, by any other way. Example 2, it will be more specific. If you measures test score in 2 classes, you know the precise means of the both groups, can state with no uncertainty which one has higher, means you are not trying to infer the properties about the larger population. Suppose you are taking a sample of 2 classes and you want to know which class is more intelligent comparatively other class, and then we can find out the mean of that particular class. So one class will be high and another class will be low. It is natural, and then we can make it a meaningful presentation. So there is no any hypothesis is required in such case. In descriptive research, it is the difference between the descriptive research and inferential research. In descriptive research, population will be less and no inference is required there, no hypothesis we should require there. So we'll discuss in detail about we'll discuss about what is inferential statistics. Drawing inference about the population is particularly important in the science where we want to apply the result to a large population, not just the specific sample in study. In inferential statistics, drawing an inference about the population is particularly important to draw an inference, and we want to apply the result to larger population. We will want to apply it for the larger population, not just the specific sample in the study. Suppose you are going to discuss about the one example we can take for this. Suppose we want to know the corona infection is easily infected to which age group people. Suppose we are assuming that it is infected to old age group. So then we'll consider about the whole population, not for the particular sample which you are going to decide your sample. So this is the whole population. It will be corona infection easily infected to old people. Then we'll proceed for the research. Second example, more specifically you can understand. If we are trying a new medication, we want to know that it works only for the small. Select experimental group. Small select experimental group. We want to infer that it will be effective for a larger population. We want to generalize the sample results to the people outside the sample. Suppose a number of health companies are making, pharmaceutical companies and other companies are making vaccine for the corona infection, for the cure of the corona infection. So then they have decided their sample group, and it is the big group, about more than 1,000 people. So then they are going to experiment that particular vaccine. If that vaccine is effective and curable for the patient of corona, so then, and this vaccine is working and patients are becoming cured. But it should not only be effective for that particular sample. This should be effective for the population, whole population. Then it will be effective. Then this research will be effective. Otherwise, this research is not effective. That vaccine will be not effective. So this is the main concept of this inferential statistics. Inferential statistics takes the data from a sample and make inference about the larger population from which the sample was drawn. Consequently, we need to have confidence that our sample accurately reflects the population. Simply, the population, whatever the results we are getting in my sample size, that result should be reflect to whole population. Then this result will be effective. This research will be effective. Otherwise, this result will be not effective. This is the major concept of inferential statistics. This requirement affects our process. At a broad level, we must do the following. First, what we will do? First, we will decide the population of your study. Then we will decide sample from this population. And it is most important, draw a representative sample from that population. It should be representative. Your sample should be representative from the population. Otherwise, result will not accurate. Result will affected. So then it is very much important. We'll discuss how we can get the sampling, representative sampling. So we'll discuss it later on. But a representative sampling will collect, and then we'll decide our sample. And lastly, use analysis that incorporate the sampling error. When we'll use analysis, then we'll use population analysis and sample analysis. Now, what are the differences between the population analysis and sample analysis? It is called simply sampling error. In most of the cases, it is simply impossible to measure the entire population to understand its properties. The alternative is to gather a random sample and then use hypothesis testing to analyze the sample data. Simply, for instance, these tests assume that the data were collected using a method that tends to produce representative samples. After all, if the sample is not similar to the population, you won't be able to use the sample to draw a conclusion about the population. Suppose a researcher wants to know the corona infection more easily infect to which age group. It is for the children, young, adult or old. So then this is our assumption. This is our assumption, hypothesis. This is our inference that corona infected to old age group or children. Then we'll proceed for the research. This is the inference. So then in inferential and descriptive studies, we don't go for the any inference. Second point is our population will be not much large. It will be small population, and will make our data analysis for a meaningful or utilization of particular problem solving. We can present it by the graphs and other way. In inferential study, it is very much important. You must take a large sample, large population, and in that population will draw a inference. On the basis of that inference, will make, and that is the hypothesis. And on that hypothesis, will go to take our conclusion. We draw a conclusion. In inferential studies, we'll first take the population, secondly sample, and we'll make analysis. Whatever the differences coming, that is called sampling error. Now we'll discuss the next topic, next term, that is population parameters versus sample statistics. Population parameter. A parameter is a value that describes a characteristic of entire population. Population parameter is major characteristics. It describes entire population, such as the population mean, because you can rarely measure the entire population. You usually don't know the real value of the parameters. In fact, parameter values are almost always unknowable. While we don't know the value, it is definitely existing. For example, the average height of the adult woman, which we are discussing in last slide, the average height of the adult woman in India is a parameter that has an exact value. We just don't know what it is. The population mean and standard deviations are two common parameters in statistics. The Greek symbol usually represent the population parameters such as the mu, and for the mean, and sigma for the standard deviation. This is the given in next slide. Statistics is the characteristics of a sample, and if you collect a sample and calculate the mean and standard deviation, these are the sample statistics. Use random sampling and other representative sampling methodologies to obtain the unbiased estimates. Whatever the sampling method you are going to use, this should be unbiased. It may be probable sampling, it may be non-probable sampling. It may be random, it may be judgmental or convenience or whatever. But this should be unbiased. The inferential statistics allow you to use sample statistic to make the conclusion about a population. In inferential statistics, we use sample statistics to estimate population parameter. For example, if we collect a random sample of the adult women in India and measure their heights, we can calculate the sample mean and use it as an unbiased estimate of the population mean. First, what we will do, for example, if we collect a random sample of adult women in India and measure their heights, we can calculate the sample mean and use it as unbiased estimate of the population mean. So this is the major concept, and sampling statistic is we are concerned with only sample. If you calculate the mean and standard deviation in this particular sampling statistics. Random sampling error. What is random sampling error? When we have representative sample, the sample means and other characteristics are unlikely to equal the population values exactly. The sample is similar to the population, but it never identical to the population. It may be similar, but never identical to the parameter. So then it should be differences, whatever the difference between the population and statistic is called as the sampling error. If you want to use sample to make an inference about the population, you need a statistical method that incorporate estimates of the sampling error. As we learned, the sampling error blurs the line between the real effects and random variations caused by the sampling. The hypothesis testing help us to separate those two possibilities. Because the population parameters are unknowable, we also never know the sampling error exactly. However, using hypothesis testing, we can estimate the error and factor it into the test results. So this is the particular major concept of this parameter and sampling statistics. Parametric versus non-parametric analysis. Parametric statistics is the branch of the statistics that assume sample data comes from the population and that are adequately modeled by the probability distributions with a set of parameters. Parametric analysis are the most common statistical method and references to probability distributions, probability distribution plots, parameter estimates, and assumptions about your data following a particular distribution, often normal distribution. Conversely, non-parametric tests don't assume that your data follow a particular distribution. Statisticians use non-parametric analysis much less frequently than the parametric counterparts. Thank you very much. We'll discuss in next slide about part 2 of the major other terminologies of hypothesis testing. Then after we'll discuss about how hypothesis testing works. Thank you very much.